Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a special Monday edition of The Rome Show, here broadcasting live on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. It is Monday evening, not Monday morning, not the time slot we are used to, but the same sports content you are used to. Trying something new today on this Monday as we get you ready for Monday Night Football Week 3 kickoff between the Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens. So we are going to break down Week 3 Sunday. A lot happened yesterday in the National Football League. We are going to give you our weekend's best and weekend's worst, as we do every single Monday. And then we will go through Lions versus Ravens Week 3 Monday Night Football. Tell you where to put your bananas, where the people are putting their bananas, and what our prediction is for that contest. If you want to get in on the action here on The Rome Show, head to youtube.com/The Romanellas. That's youtube.com/The Romanellas. You can comment live on the show anytime when you're watching on YouTube. Also, broadcasting live on Twitter, X, and Instagram, either one, The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show, then the number 1, bottom left-hand side of your screen. Follow, subscribe, whatever on any of those sites. And of course, facebook.com/The Rome Show. Let's get into our weekend's best and our weekend's worst here for the people. We like to start with all of the good. So why don't we start with a record-breaking day in Seattle as Cal Raleigh breaks the record set by Ken Griffey Jr. for the most home runs in Seattle Mariners history.
How you win 13-14. Raleigh, right field. He's got 58. And the Mariners' main man delivers 2 more in a remarkable season. Within 2 of 60.
Congratulations to Cal Raleigh. Most home runs for a catcher in a single season. Most home runs for a switch hitter in a single season. And the most home runs for a Seattle Mariner in a single season. Anytime the likes of Ken Griffey Jr. and your name get brought up, it is generally a very good thing. The major debate right now between these two players is, between Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, and that debate is about the most valuable player. I've been hearing it all across the board because Cal Raleigh, historic season, most home runs all time for a catcher, most home runs all time for a switch hitter, most home runs all time for a Seattle Mariner. In 139 games, he's done that. However, when you look at the statistics of Aaron Judge, it's really hard to not give the most valuable player to Aaron Judge. Outside of the 58 homers that Raleigh leads Judge in and the RBIs at 121, every other pretty much important statistical category falls in the hands of Aaron Judge. Batting average, runs scored, hits, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, walks. He's got less strikeouts. His WAR is higher. When you look at it, Aaron Judge, statistically, is the most valuable player in Major League Baseball. But with the eye test, it could feel different for a lot of people. And the bottom line when it comes to choosing a most valuable player is removing that person from that team's roster. What will end up happening? And I would argue that if you remove both of these guys from both of their rosters, neither of these teams would be even close to where they are at. But the struggle for me with Cal Raleigh is the batting average, is the overall numbers. The home runs are cool to me. The RBIs are cool to me. And I'm sure that has had a gigantic impact on the Seattle Mariners season. But for a man in Aaron Judge to not only do it with the power and the runs batted in, but he's also got one of the best batting averages in the league. He's always on base. He's an elite level defender. The whole package there for Aaron Judge. I think it's going to fall into Cal Raleigh's hands. We have a week or two more to determine this, so we'll talk about it more. But early indicator is the AL MVP race is a two-headed monster between Cal Raleigh, now the home run leader for the Seattle Mariners, and for catchers all time, and for switch hitters all time. Number 2 on the weekend's best list goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you didn't see this, saddle in right now, because the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, did what great teams do. They found a way to win. Check this out.
Joshua Carty has it blocked again. This time Jordan Davis, the big man, looks for the icing on one big cake. Eagles hang on.
One big cake is right, running at nearly 19 miles per hour to the end zone. The Eagles on the precipice of their first loss of the season not only blocked the field goal, but they blocked the field goal and they run it back the other direction. And why is that important? Because if you put bananas on this game, and you had the Rams at the +1.5. Ooh, man, that one hurt for you. Good teams find a way to win even on their worst days. Heard this statistic today, and it was unbelievable. I'm like, wow, I got to share this with the Romo Sapiens. Jalen Hurts is 17-0 in his last 17 starts. 17-0. Last 17 starts includes the playoffs last year plus the Super Bowl and the back end of the regular season. Right now, despite what you want to think talent-wise, the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the National Football League. And it's not just because of the talent, though the talent can actually equate to that same sentiment. It's about their ability to win. Why did we think the Chiefs were so good for 6-8 years? You always felt like they were going to win. Why were the Patriots led by Tom Brady and Bill Belichick so good? You always felt like they were going to win. That's the territory the Eagles are entering right now. Another weekend's best goes to the Cleveland Browns. You never thought I'd say that, but I will. Why? Packers were up 10-0, 2-0. Everybody's thinking that the Packers could now be a perennial Super Bowl favorite. They come into Cleveland, arguably one of the best defenses in the league, and Cleveland shuts them down. But it's 10-0 for most of the game into the middle of the fourth quarter, and you're like, this is going to be such a typical Cleveland Browns loss. They actually play really good football on one side of the ball, and they are inadequate on the other side of the ball. But wait, that wasn't the case, because Jordan Love threw an atrocious interception that brought the Browns back. They tie the game at 10, and then the game-winning kick looks a little bit like this.
Good snap. Good hold. The kick is on the way. The kick is good. The kick is good. And Andre Schmidt from 55.
Andre Schmidt from 55 gives the Browns their first victory of the season, and it reminds the entire league of two things. A, it is extremely hard to win week on, week off in the National Football League. And secondly, despite what we want to think about their quarterback position or their offensive situation, the Cleveland Browns consistently, every single year, have arguably the best defense, or at least defensive line, led by Myles Garrett in the league. And you cannot just assume that every game against the Browns is a victory. And what's messed up about that is they'll probably end up at 4-13 or 5-12. And they'll lose 5 games like they lost last week against the Baltimore Ravens, where they just get slaughterhoused. But then you see these games, and every time you see the Browns on the schedule, you think to yourself, man, this could be a bad loss. And that was the definition of a bad loss for the Green Bay Packers. Finally, Indiana Jones, baby, and the Indianapolis Colts, 3-0. Daniel Jones, 3-0 for the Indianapolis Colts right now. And really, really freaking good. He has like 816 passing yards on the year. He's got 3 pass TDs, and he's got 3 rushing TDs. The Colts, they've put up 103 points through the first 3 games of the season. That is the most all-time for a Colts team, including some led by Peyton Manning, who eclipsed 100, but never 101. The last time the Colts were 3-0, they made the Super Bowl. I don't know if that's an inkling for Indiana Jones, which I love, by the way. Saw a sign yesterday, Indiana Jones and the pursuit of a winning season. God, I love it. I love how much the Colts fans are behind Daniel Jones. I think it's fantastic and good for Danny Dimes. Let's flip it to the weekend's worst, though, because we have a few of those, and we'll start it really simple with Jordan Love and the Packers. We just played the clip. We don't need to play it again. The Packers with a 10-0 lead late in the fourth quarter. You got to wrap that game up every time and twice on Sunday or Monday or Thursday. If you believe that you are a Super Bowl contending team, they did not. And rather go into week 4 3-0, and everyone still thinks they're riding this wave of the Packers could be the best team in the league. Now you're like, are they as good as we thought? Is Jordan Love even the right quarterback? It's wild how 1 week will change all of the questions for you. We continue on weekend's worst. That was the sound of the Atlanta Falcons offense yesterday against what's their team name? Oh, Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. They haven't been good in so long. I actually forgot that Atlanta played Bryce Young and the Panthers, and they lost 30-0. Atrocious. Okay. That is the weekend's worst as worst gets. Michael Penix Jr. was benched in this game. He was atrocious. 50% from the completion percentage. 2 TDs, only threw for 172 yards. Bijan Robinson, who they love to feed the rock to, didn't even get over 100 yards in both his 5 receptions and his 13 carries, barely over 100 yards. So, a big time for the Atlanta Falcons. That's just embarrassing. You know what? Another womp, womp, womp. Nick Bosa and the San Francisco 49ers. Nick Bosa tore his ACL, so now he is out for the remainder of the season. I got to be honest with you. This is just a long line of San Francisco 49ers issues. I feel like every year we're dealing with this problem when it comes to the 49ers, whether it's injuries or it's holdouts or it's something. And every year, I feel like that Mike Shanahan's been the head coach there. They've been trying to figure out how to be 100% healthy for the entirety of a year. And yet, it still has yet to happen. Nick Bosa, the latest on that list. Finally, it is time, New York Football Giants. But the Russell Wilson experiment is over in New York. I don't know what rock Brian Daboll needs to get hit upside the head with to figure out that Jackson Dart should be playing in this football game. But I was at the game last night, and when the fans are screaming for Dart in the second quarter of a tie game, okay? And they're not screaming for Jackson Dart because of the traditional, let's just yell for the backup quarterback. You're watching Russell Wilson physically throw the games away. Think about the Dallas Cowboys game. Left leg heave, down the field, lose the game in overtime. Thinking about yesterday, the 2 interceptions he threw, okay, to the Chiefs were inexcusable. Those are low-level, bad football quarterbacking decisions. There's no other way around it. There's no this read, that read, what read. He has no clue what he's doing back there. His feet are all dancing around. It looks like he's on the dance floor. They don't stop moving. He don't look comfortable in the pocket. It's such a vanilla, bland, boring offense with him in there. And I was the first person to say, play him as long as you could. 2 weeks ago on this show, I told Rocky, it is not time for Jackson Dart. And not because it shouldn't be time for Jackson Dart, because you just need to push this as long as you can until you have to make the decision. Well, you have to make that decision. And Russell Wilson really forced your hand on that. Because if he would have gone out versus Dallas and played the 450 game that he played and not been the reason they lost, and if they would have came out yesterday and he would have played some solid quarterback for the Giants and he wasn't the direct reason it felt like they lost, it's a lot different of a feeling. First off, you're probably 2-1. Like, there's no reason why the Giants shouldn't have won that game last night. There's no reason why the Giants shouldn't have won versus the Dallas Cowboys last week. There's no reason. The only reason outside of some inconsistencies here, there, whatever, which is okay, I got it. It's the quarterback position. It's the quarterback position. If you give the Giants 16 of the quarterbacks in the league right now, in those 2 games, okay, 16, the top 16. It doesn't even need to be number 1 through 5. I don't need Mahomes. He didn't play that well last night either. I don't need Herbert. Okay? I bet if Dak Prescott was the quarterback of the Giants last night, they would have won. That could be considered a hot take. I understand. But that is, hot take, in my opinion, how bad Russell Wilson in the last 5 quarters has been for the New York Football Giants. If there's never, I don't know what time it is for Jackson Dart, Brian Daboll, but if it coming out of the second half locker room yesterday wasn't it, I don't know what is. And if week 4 isn't it, I don't know what is. I don't. Because if I'm Brian Daboll, after what I witnessed last night with my own eyes, Cam Scadaboo and Jackson Dart will be touching the rock 100% of the time for the remainder of the year. We're going to touch a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's Monday Morning QB. So we run you through every game that happened on Sunday, and then we get you ready for the final game of week 3, Monday Night Football, the Lions and the Ravens. The Rome Show, Monday Night Football pregame show. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Hopefully you want to sponsor. If you do, reach out to us. Back after this. Yeah. Woo! What's going on? It's the Rome Show. Broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got like 10 minutes left in this show. Special Monday evening feature for the people. Hopefully getting you ready for a little Monday Night Football tonight. Lions versus the Ravens. Before we do that, though, we do Monday morning quarterback, or in this instance, Monday evening quarterback. Let's run you through the Sunday week 3 NFL contest. Let's get it started. First and foremost, we go to... we already went to Buffalo. The Green Bay Packers and the Browns. We talked about it. Browns win 13-10. Jordan Love, bad day, 183, 1 TD, 1 interception. Not what you're looking for. The Browns, they're going to survive on their defense. That's the key moving forward. Indiana Jones and the Colts, 41-20 over the Tennessee Titans. We all knew the Titans would not be that good this season. We all did not know, though, that the Indiana Colts would be Indianapolis Colts would be this good. Jonathan Taylor, by the way, leading the league in rushing yards, 338 through 3 games. 3 TDs, 5.6 yards per carry when you're talking about Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts run game. Very impressive. The Vikings, they slaughtered the Bengals 48-10. Shout out to Carson Wentz, 14 of 21, 23, 2 TDs. Jordan Mason carries 160 yards. The Vikings, they won the backup quarterback battle. The Bengals, they look like a really bleak 2-1 with no Joe Burrow in sight. The Steelers and the Patriots, it was who wants to give this game away and who can or who can't. And eventually the Pittsburgh Steelers won. They improved to 2-1. 21-14 was the score of this game. Not a great day from Aaron Rodgers. Not a great day from Drake May. Not a great day from either side of the coin. Pittsburgh only ran for 64 yards. That's a interesting looking Steelers team. The Patriots, we knew they were rebuilding. 1-2 they are, 2-1 the Steelers. The Eagles, we saw that. They won 33-26. Kyron Williams, 94 yards on the ground in this contest. How about in the second half from Jalen Hurts? Him and A.J. Brown were connecting. Best day of the year so far for A.J. Brown. 6 receptions, 109 yards, 1 TD. They proved to you in this game, the Eagles did, that they can beat you on the ground and they can beat you in the air. The Buccaneers, they survived a 21-point fourth quarter from the New York Jetropolitans to win 29-27. Baker Mayfield, okay day. Nothing spectacular, but did enough to win the ball game. Tyrod Taylor is Tyrod Taylor. I'm sure that's why the Jets look the way the Jets look. They need a running game, though. Like the New York Jetropolitans have zero running game. Their quarterback led the way with 48 rushing yards. That's going to be a big factor long term. The Commanders, they scored in every quarter. They feel like they did whatever they wanted on offense. 41-24 behind Marcus Mariota, since Jaden Daniels ended up not playing in this contest. Mariota, 15-21, 207 yards and a TD. Jeremy McNichols, what a run at one point in this game, barreling over 78 yards. And the Scary Terry, Luke McCaffrey, and Zach Ertz, 3 receptions each. No one more than 74 receiving yards in that game. The Raiders, they played okay. They battled back. It's not that good of a football team. Geno Smith, 19-29, 289, 3 TDs, 0 interceptions. I feel like that is a lie of a line based on how this game went. Ashton Gianti, 63 yards, 17 carries. Dude does not look like the pick that he was supposed to be. Again, not his fault, though. Because if you're running behind a bad offensive line, it doesn't matter if you're Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley. It's very difficult, especially when you're not a swift runner. You're a heavy, hard, make people hurt runner like Gianti is. 47 carries on the year, Ashton Gianti. 144 yards total and 1 TD. That's going to be a big aspect if the Raiders want to figure it out moving forward. We talked about the Panthers and Falcons. Bad day all around. Good day for Chuba Hubbard and the gang. 73 yards on 17 carries. The Jags, they hold off. They beat the Texans. The Texans are 0-3. CJ Stroud doesn't look like he's going to ball anymore. That's a little extreme, but it's true. 2 INTs, 1 TD. Passer rating is 66. Trevor Lawrence looks like at football, but the Jags are 2-1, and I think that's all that really matters under new head coach Liam Cohen. They can compete in the rock. Travis Etienne Jr. yard and 1 TD. 2 not great teams in the AFC South went after it right there, and it was not fun necessarily to watch. The Chargers, they scored 10 in the fourth quarter to defeat the Broncos 23-20. Justin Herbert becomes the youngest player in the history of the NFL. Throw for 200,000, 20,000? I don't know. It's something like that. It's on our Instagram. I'll look for it now. But Justin Herbert, who we talked about the other day, fastest player to 2,000 career completions, who we thought the Dolphins should have 20. They didn't, and now it's the benefit of the Chargers, who are 3-0. Good day for J.K. Dobbins on the ground. Broncos 11 carries, 83 yards, and a TD. The Seahawks, they dismantled the Saints 44-13. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 5 receptions, 96 yards, and a TD. Sam Darnold, 218 through the air and 2 touchdowns. 2 straight victories for the Seahawks, who are looking nice behind Sammy Darnold. The Saints 0-3 and trending towards not a great year. The Bears, they dismantled the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is atrocious. I don't see the Cowboys winning much more than 5 or 6 games this year, especially since they can't get to the quarterback. They can't stop anybody. There are dudes wide open for Caleb Williams, who had 4 TDs, 0 interceptions, 298 yards in the air. His best day as a Chicago Bear, no doubt. They're 1-2. The Cowboys are 1-2. The often injured 49ers still dealing with injuries, but they're somehow still 3-0. Okay, Mac Jones leads a comeback. 10 points in the fourth quarter. This game was 6-6 heading into the fourth quarter. Yeah, that sounds atrocious. Mac Jones 84, 1 TD, 1 INT. Christian McCaffrey 2 on the ground. Ricky Pearsall is turning into a legitimate wide receiver. 8 receptions, 117 yards. He's got 16 receptions and 281 yards through the first 3 games of the season. We knew there'd be questions about their receiving core. Pearsall is answered. No, 49ers 3-0. Cardinals first loss of the season, 2-1. Then finally, we talked about it last night, talked about it just before last night, the Giants had a chance, but they lost. Patrick Mahomes, not great, but he was 224, 1 TD. Not a lot of running on the ground for KC. Cam Scatterbo, though, for the Giants, 60 yards on the ground, 61 through the air, and 1 touchdown. That's the guy you want to feed him the rock. Travis Kelce got into an argument, yelling match, whatever, with Andy Reid on the sidelines. I don't think much of it. That's just the type of passion that team plays with. Nonetheless, the Chiefs get their first victory. They're 1-2. They don't look that good, though. That's a fact. That's not like a hot take. Oh, use the Chiefs dynasty to end. They just don't look that good. That's okay. I mean, that's currently where the Chiefs sit right now, and they're 1-2, and that is your Sunday Week 3 rundown of what went on in the National Football League. Give me 26 seconds, then we'll come back and we'll finish today off with our Monday football. Welcome back into the Rome Show here. Quick commercial break there. As we get ready to finish this show right now, it's Monday Night Football. It's about 7:14 on your clock, and you are about an hour and 6 minutes away from kickoff on Monday Night Football. Tonight, we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Baltimore Ravens to enter this contest. The Ravens are favored at home by 4.5 points. A lot of that has to do with how good they just are as a football team and how good they are at home. But some of that also has to go into the fact that under John Harbaugh, in the last 25 primetime games, so Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, the Ravens are 22-3 under John Harbaugh. And furthermore, Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football games, he's played in 9 of them, and he's got 22 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. So when the lights are the brightest and the entire nation is watching your football game, the Baltimore Ravens turn into like the greatest team of all time. However, the one question mark for me tonight is, what is this running game going to look like? And it's wild to say that out loud because Derrick Henry is the running back for the Baltimore Ravens. But last week, the Cleveland Browns held the Ravens to 45 rushing yards total. Now, we just got done before the commercial break. You missed it, the Rome Show podcast. If you ever listen to podcasts, we just got done talking about how the Cleveland Browns could arguably be one of the best defenses in the league. So that doesn't surprise us, okay? But the Ravens have the best running back in the league outside of a guy named Jonathan Taylor, okay? And Derrick Henry ran for 45 yards. So it goes no further than starting right there, because on the flip side, Aiden Hutchinson is back for this Detroit Lions defense, and the defensive line is trying to find itself right now, okay? They've given up 106 rushing yards per game through the first 2, and they only have 4 sacks and 7 tackle for losses in the first 2 games. That is the Detroit Lions front 4, okay? Now, this is a defense that had trended in the right direction last year, and then in the most important game of the year, gave up 40-some points to the Washington Commanders. And then in week 1, looked not good at all against the Green Bay Packers. So if you think about 2 of the last 3 times this team has played, their defense has not looked very good. Okay. Then you come back last week to the Chicago Bears and you do a lot of the things that you wanted to do. It felt like the Detroit Lions. Okay. And I truly believe it's got to start with, can you get Lamar Jackson down? Can you? Right? Because you're going to rush him out of the pocket. Are you going to get him down, or is he going to make big plays? What's the running game for the Ravens like against the front line against Detroit on defense? Right there. Between the quarterback pressure and Derrick Henry, that's the game right there. Because I think Jared Goff is good enough. He's proven it. Jared Goff and that offense have enough weapons. This Baltimore Ravens defense isn't world beater. It's not the best Ravens defense we've ever seen. Okay. So I believe when you look at the offensive side from the Detroit Lions, they are just as good, if not better, than the Ravens on any given night with the type of talent and explosiveness they can have. Now, they got to work on third down efficiency. First 2 weeks of the year, 36% on third down, whereas their opponents are completing 48% against them. Okay. You got to get teams off the field, and you got to stay on the field, because the final key factor in this game is time of possession. Okay. Whatever team can garner the time of possession in this game is going a long way into them winning this football game, because both teams can run the rock. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery on one side, Derrick Henry on the other side, and Lamar Jackson. Both teams can run the rock. So possess the football, keep the weapons on the other side off the field, and use play action to your advantage, hit a big play. All right? But it's going to be a right hook, left hook, drop down match tonight, and I'm really excited about it. And like I said, the Ravens are favored by 4.5 in this contest. And as badly as I want to stick with the Ravens, the 22-3 under Jim Harbaugh in primetime, the 22 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for Lamar Jackson in 9 Monday Night Football games, I believe in Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. I believe that Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions are being disrespected right now based on what went on week number 1 of the NFL season. If I'm Dan Campbell and I'm the Detroit Lions, this is a perfect moment to show people how good we really are. Because if you flash forward to February, this could be a Super Bowl matchup. If all things play out the way we all think it could, this could be a Super Bowl matchup. So I am going to take, in my pick today, I'm going with the Detroit Lions. And we are going to take the Detroit Lions at the plus. No, it's not. What? Ooh. Wait. Number 3. We lost it. I don't. That's what we are taking tonight for the Detroit Lions. And that's the Rome Show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the Monday night. I really enjoyed the Monday night. This has been a blast. We'll think about it again next Monday. Maybe we'll think about it on Thursday. I don't know. We'll see how we feel. I just appreciate the people coming out and tuning into the show, whether it's 7:30 in the morning or 7:30 at night. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate you. We'll be back in the morning, though, tomorrow morning, 7:05. Andrew Romanella. Subscribe, follow, do the dang thing. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace!
Thank you for listening.